All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. This is going to be a killer video, and if you find value from this, I'm simply asking for you to share it with a friend of yours. I will also make this available on YouTube shortly, but I'm going to be taking you through now what we are doing with high soccer and how it's different compared to anybody else that I know. And what you're going to find out here shortly is about tryouts. If you haven't seen what we've been doing, we are doing something special with tryouts this year. Because everybody runs a tryout. I'm going to explain that process here shortly, how it works. And I already gave you guys my tryout framework. If you haven't seen the tryout framework, shoot me a DM with the word tryout, and I will send you the tryout framework, the entire video. That's like 30 minutes, and you can see everything that I was talking about and how it prepares you for this video and what's coming after that, okay? Let me just double check to make sure the audio, everything's working. If you're hearing me, please give me a thumbs up. Andrea, yes, we'll be having summer camps. If you want to find out about our summer camps, shoot me a DM. You can also go to the Beast Obsession Instagram page. You can find it. So, anyways, back to this. Tryouts are running. I should say it's tryout season, you guys know. But with us, with our programming, the key thing is tryouts are sold. We are not running a tryout. Okay, so let me put a big fat X. So we are not running tryouts. Now, here's what happens typically when you go to a tryout. So if you go to a club and they're running a tryout, what you're going to find is they're going to take a bunch of kids. They might do a warm-up. Okay, they might do a simple passing pattern. Then they're going to scrimmage the entire time. And what happens in these processes is the coach will either be sitting down. He'll be sitting and with a clipboard in his hand, seeing the kids' names and writing, for example, team 1 or check like I want him or X, or whatever the instruction is for the directors, or they're going to be standing there doing the same process. They're going to have a clipboard in hand. They're going to go, okay, little Johnny, check. Little Jake, no. Team 2. Little Jonathan, team 3. Little Jimmy, team 4. Little Jackson, team 1. Right? And that's how they're going to do this over and over again. And that's how they're going to determine their players that they want for their teams. And then obviously team 2 will get team 2, team 3, and team 4. So, but the key thing with that is they're just scrimmaging. Right? They're going to scrimmage for 80 to 90% of the practice, even though it's called a tryout. That's how tryouts are run. We felt that we wanted to cancel tryouts and say, you know what? We're going to be hosting what we call open clinics. So normally for Florida, tryouts are in May, right? So like start of May, you run a trial, everybody can come to you and see your thing. And then you make teams. So we're running what we call open clinics. So we're running it started yesterday and it's going to finish next week, Monday through Thursday. Same thing the following week, Monday through Thursday. We're going to have our training sessions available for you as parents to come look at, which I'll explain here shortly. But basically, we have sessions Monday and Wednesday at one location, Tuesday, Thursday at another location, and then the same thing for the following week, which would be next week, which will be Monday, Wednesday at one location, Tuesday, Thursday, the other location. You as parents are free to come to every single session. Any session you want, you come check it out, see if it's a good fit for you. And I'm going to explain what here is our objective other than canceling tryouts. So obviously, you know we canceled tryouts. We've now hosted open clinics. You're probably going, well, what's the point of this? So our objective is quite simple. I'm going to put it in purple here. Our objective. Okay, I'm not a fan of tryouts. Tryouts have been around a long time, since I was a little kid. And what happens is, do you think as a parent, when you watch a tryout, so let's say I take my son, little Johnny, to another club. Never been there before, don't know anything about the staff, the coaches. Okay, yeah, they have some leagues. So they got some of the badges on the shoulder that say MLS Next, or ECNL, or DA, or not EDA, EA, and whatever other league that comes into this. Okay, great. But what are you going to provide my son outside of the league? That's what I want to know. Right? As a parent, I want to know, what are you going to do for my son? That's straight up, because I'm paying you for a service. What are you providing me, my son, outside of the league that he's probably not even ready for anyways because he's not good enough yet to go to college? And like that right there, I think for parents, they need to understand. It doesn't matter what's on the shoulder if the child is not good enough. Separate point, but I'm trying to summarize this together for you. So, key thing here, our objective. As a parent, right? I've been in this game a long time as a player, now as a coach, and first I worked for other people, and now I work for myself. Okay, here's the thing. I've been in this a long time. I've seen a lot of the stuff that happens and a lot of stuff that doesn't happen. We're trying to go in the direction of doesn't happen. And the key thing is, if I'm a parent, I want to see how does the club that we're trying out for, how do they train? How does the coach interact with the kids? What is their objective? What are they trying to achieve? What is my son or daughter going to learn? What are you going to do for my kid? Right? I'm bringing you my son. Is it just a babysitting service where they just scrimmage like at tryouts? Or are you actually going to train my son or daughter so I can see what you actually offer? That right there is the key. You want to see what they're going to offer you. Well, we're going to be able to offer you, for example, 3 times a week training. Training sessions focused on X. So X would be development. Like me, I'm an individual development guy. That's my thing. So we want to focus on individual development. Okay, and the third thing. Okay, great. Well, we're going to have some games. We don't care about the wins or losses because your kids are 8 years old. We want to win doing the right thing, right? I'm just trying to transfer this to you. Okay, great. So this means, I have it in green here, parents can, along with their player, evaluate if the club, the team, and the coach are a good fit for you. So we're running these open clinics. And you're going to see here in a second, as parents, you are going to be able to see our training session. So you're literally going to be able to watch our training session, what we do throughout the year, right? You get to see how we train, how our coach interacts with your kids. What does our session actually look like? How do the kids behave with each other? It's not just a scrimmage. So you'll see, like if you came to our session yesterday, which we had a decent amount of kids, you'll see this. We have 4 phases. We have phase 1. We have phase 2, we have phase 3, and phase 4. Now, phase 1 and phase 2 are intertwined, okay? But what they did yesterday was technical, I'm going to write it in red, activation, okay? Which was basically every kid with a ball. Every kid had a ball, and they focused on juggling and dribbling, okay? Second phase is coordination. If the coach decided to use this, we told them, hey, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But you can do and add coordination. Some of our staff used it, some staff didn't, and they just did this. Right? And then phase 3 was 1v1. Well, if you watched my last video a second ago about how to help raise your child's responsibility, 1v1. Anyways, the final thing was either a 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4 tournament. Let me make sure this is all here so you can all see this. Okay, so this was our session yesterday. This is going to be our session today. This is going to be our session Wednesday and Thursday. So it might vary a little bit of how we deliver it, but we're going to be doing that. You're going to see, if you come to our open clinics, you're going to see here, phase 1, technical activation. Phase 2, if the coach uses it, coordination. Phase 3, 1v1. Phase 4, tournament. And the reason why we finish with a tournament is we want the session to finish super competitive. We want the kids to be pushing each other. And I don't mean like physically pushing, but I'm saying like challenge each other. They have to battle to win because this is competitive. To play competitive, if we look up the definition of competitive, is to be better than somebody else. You're in competition. You're trying to beat the other person. So we want to compete. So that's what we're trying to build here. And this is what we do. Training session, technical activation, coordination, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4. That's what we run. This is what we do. Now, we do vary it slightly from, this is our curriculum. This is what we do, curriculum-wise, okay? And then we vary it slightly as necessary. But this is what we build. Now, let's look at the final piece here. This is probably the most important thing here, so I'm going to box this for you, and I'm going to box it in green, and you can probably read it already. This is my favorite part about tryouts, outside of them sitting there with a clipboard going, yes, no. And by the way, I worked for an organization where we had to do this. We sat there. They said, okay, you're going to run tryouts. You're going to have the kids scrimmage. And I sat there. Actually, I might have one. Clipboard. Yep, I do. Clipboard in hand. Let me grab it right now. Clipboard in hand with my piece of paper with all the kids' names there that were going to be there. And I sat on the side. And I had a list of kids, and it was Little Johnny. What team? Team 1. Okay, Little Jackson, Team 2. Okay, Little Jacob, Team 2. And Brandon, Little Brandon, Team 4. I don't think he's good enough. Okay, let's look at Little Jimmy John, Team 1. Okay, great. We got our teams here. Now, what would happen is, after the tryout, this is crazy, after the tryout, we would all get together, sit down. we would sit with the board or ownership group, whatever I don't want to give it away who it was, but we would sit there and they would say, okay, great, give us the names where you want them placed, and then we're going to send out the emails. And the emails were this. And I've seen it this bad, somebody actually sent me this. They received a 4-hour window to accept and pay their deposit. So between finishing tryouts and receiving the email that your child was accepted, they had 4 hours to decide if they wanted to stay on that team and pay the deposit. Now I'm going to show you a couple of tricks with this. Okay? Now, before I tell you, with our organization, you're not going to have the 4 to 48 hour BS. There's no BS. What we will say and tell you is, hey, listen, we're going to give you 1 to 2 weeks. Let us know, go experience other people. Let us know what you think. We got to come to a decision at some point if you're going to be continuing with us or not. No problem though. It's not like, hey, you only have 4 to 48 hour BS to sign up. And here's where they try and trick you. They say, hey, you need to reserve your spot, your child's spot on this team. Pardon my French, that's bullshit. Because if they really want your kid, you can come back in 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe longer, and they'll still take your son on that team if they're good enough. If they're not good enough, then yeah, they might put him on team 2. If they decide to put him on team 2 or whatever other team, team 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, just go to a different organization at that point, right? Yes. Okay, so don't fall for the 4 to 48 hour BS. Do not fall for that. If you watched my tryout framework, then you know how to solve this problem and not fall for the BS. So I hope that you watch that video and then you watch this video to help you understand the dynamics of this. So now, if you want to be successful with this, okay, the key thing here, let's summarize this for you. So just to recap, why are we running open clinics? We want you as parents to bring your child to us. You get to see our training session. You get to see our coaches. You get to see our staff. How do they behave? How do they interact with your kids? What do we offer you from a daily environment of training, and see if it's a good fit for your son or daughter? Now, you might walk in there and go, like I talked to a couple of parents that came from other organizations, like, Kyle, oh my God, this is fantastic. My son has never gotten this amount of touches on the ball at his practice in the last 6 months. He's like, I could add up the last 6 months of his practice with his other organization, and in one practice, you guys crushed the amount of footwork that he did. And I'm like, I know. Welcome to America. Now, you might on the flip side say, you know what? Let me go back to this real quick. You might see technical activation, coordination, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, and say, you know what? That is complete and utter shit. I don't like it. Cool. But the great thing is you can determine that by attending to see if it's a good fit for your son or daughter. And there's absolutely no pressure. You just register online for free, and then you come check it out. And literally, I had a conversation with all the parents yesterday at the end, and I'm like, look, you might think this is totally awesome, or you might think this is complete and utter shit. Either way, we're cool. We're just trying to provide a different experience and meet kids where they're at. That's literally all we're trying to do. You might think it's awesome. You might absolutely despise it because you say, hey, my kid's too good for this, if they are not, or you just don't think it's a good fit. Cool. We're good. You're good. But at least we're providing you the opportunity to see what we have. And again, you might love it. You might hate it. It's like that TV show, Love It or List It, right? You either love it at the end or you hate it. You got to make a decision. So just to recap, you get to see all that. You then have the no 44, which I've seen as bad, to 48-hour rule to save your spot. So you, again, they're going to send you an email and they're going to say, hey, you made our team the premier superstar MLS next team. You have 5 hours to submit your deposit and reserve your child's spot. Bullshit. Don't fall for that. And again, we're not going to be doing it. We will come back to you in 1 to 2 weeks. We're going to say, hey, we like your son or we like your daughter. We think they're a good fit for us. We think we're a good fit for them. We'd like to offer you a spot in our program. And then you can make a decision. Hey, yeah, this is a good fit or not. And if it's not, just let us know. It's not. Okay. No harm, no foul. Move on with your day. Go where you need to go. But at least you can make that decision. Now, let's answer this question. Because there's a little bit more. Oops, I made one extra page. So let's answer this question. So if you came to us and said, Kyle, I like your program. What? Because somebody asked me this question. Can or will your program do for my, let's just say son, but child, son or daughter. Cool. I'm going to show you right now. So if you're watching this right now or you watch it later, right, you're going to see right now what our objectives are to help your child. Okay? So like I said, tryouts are canceled. Big X. We're done. No tryouts. Okay? However, we will show you our yearly objectives per age group. This is what we want to teach your kids. Okay? So you're going to see on the breakdown per age group, U8, U9, U10, U11, U12, U13, U14, U15, U16, U17. Now, understand, this is not the end-all, be-all. It's not. But it's an overview so you have an idea of what your child could and should be learning. Okay? So let's look at it. So yearly objectives, right? What I already said. What we're going to be teaching your kid for the year. So here's the U8. Here's the U9. These are our key things we want to teach them throughout the year. Okay, so for U8, we want to focus on juggling. We want to focus on skill development. We want to focus on change of direction, inside, outside, and use of the sole of the foot. Hopefully, proper passing technique. However, I want to emphasize this. If the player does not have enough skill, we will not teach passing. In fact, I'll give you a different example. We had a child join us from another organization. The kid had absolutely no level. In fact, I saw the dad at a park passing with his son, back and forth. And I'm like, I went up to him and I'm like, hey, I love that you're trying to do this. I think you could do it in a better way. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm watching your son and I've been doing this a long time. He's not ready yet to be implement passing. He's like, well, what should I do? Right here, dribbling. Don't worry about proper passing if they don't have the skill yet. If they have enough core skill, great. If they don't, skip it, go to 1v1. Okay, if they have enough skill, great. Recognize with. So how to spread out, right? Develop internal confidence in 1v1 play. Well, my last video that I did 20 minutes ago talked about how do you develop internal drive and confidence. Here you go. Okay, and then the ability or capability of playing from the back. And then you can see on the bottom there, play various positions all year, right? And that's our U8 framework. So this is what we want to try and teach U8. Right? And then you can, the great thing about this is, you can then judge us and be like, well, did we achieve it or did we not achieve it? Who knows? But you know what? You can determine it by this. Right? This is our framework. This is what our coaches are about. We're trying to develop this. Okay, so here's your U9. 15 juggles, escape moves. So that's how to escape from an opponent. Confidence using skill. So now you not just have the ability, you have the confidence to use a skill. Confident receiving ball under pressure. Understanding, not just knowing to spread out, but understanding why you're spreading out. So like I was running the session yesterday. Every single kid was ball watching. Ball goes, and every kid's flocking to the ball. And I told them yesterday, I'm like, look, what do you guys want to do at the end? Because they were playing a game, right, with goals. And I'm like, what are you trying to do in the end? And they're like, score? Okay, so can you stop worrying about the ball and worry about how we get the ball in the goal? They're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So stop going to the ball and think about how you can position yourself to either help yourself and or help your team get the ball to the goal. Right? Okay. And they started thinking about how they spread out. So understand this. Receiving the ball under pressure. Understanding spreading out. Pass and move. So a lot of times you'll see kids, they pass the ball and they do this. I call it the flamingo, actually. It's funny. They'll pass and they'll flamingo. Maybe they'll switch legs. Right? It's a joke. So they need to pass and move. Okay? And it's all about meeting the kids at their level. Engagement to get the ball back. So pass and move, get the ball back. So like a 1-2. Understanding, give and go. 1-2. Using the body to shield the ball. So you'll see a lot of times players, dude, they have no idea. Young kids, even older kids, don't know how to use their body. So like when you're defending, a lot of kids defend like this. They have the ball in front of them and they're like this, guys in the back. No. Turn your body. Bend your knees. Be on your toes. Arm out. Protect the ball. Little things like that they're not taught because they haven't been taught it. Okay, so it's just little things like that we're trying to teach U8 and U9. And I have this from, and I'll do the last two, and then I'll stop because it's a lot of content. Okay, U10. Third of juggles, and this is the minimum, by the way. All skill moves mastery. So be able to use all the skills. Technical ability to pass with both feet. Very important. Combination play. 1-2 and overlaps. Confident and 1v1 ability. Create space for teammates. Recognize numerical advantages, which is 2v1, so overloads. Marking ability to understand how to actually mark. Because you'll tell kids, hey, you need to mark up. They don't actually understand what that means. So by U10, we teach them, Okay, well, if this is my defender, you can't really see it, but it's a chair, right? I need to be goal side and ball side. Okay, and then we can hopefully help them understand how to mark up. Let's see, vocal press. So that's press. The players speak it out loud. If they want to pressure, they tell their teammate, press. Okay, then we look at U11. 40 juggles, juggling 3 up and chest. Let's juggle a couple, play it up, off the chest. Okay, control with the proper foot. Long pass technique, so driven passes. How do we do that? Control aerial passes using the chest, I put chest, but it's inside, maybe the thigh, maybe the chest, whatever it is. Create numerical advantages like a 3v2. So how do we play with 3 versus 2? Use full width of the field. So not just spreading out, but how do we use the field now and why? Give everything to try and win. To try to win mentality. So now they understand that they need to play to win, but we don't sacrifice the way that we play to win just to win. Okay? That means kickball. We don't kickball. Recognize numerical disadvantages, 1v2, and if we recognize that, maybe we don't go forward, maybe we turn and play back. Okay? Drop defensive line to prevent kickball. So if the other team wants to boot it every single time, we have to go back to not get booted. All right, and then play various positions later. And again, like I said, I have U12, U13, U14, U15, U16, U17. It's all here, guys. Like the whole thing, top to bottom is right here. I'm not going to go through all of it because there's a lot of content to go through and it's too much. I don't want this video to be too long. But the point is it's all there. And you would be able to judge that against us. And you could say, hey, well, I didn't see this. I didn't see this. And we'd be able to come back to you and say, well, for example, U8, you didn't work on passing. Yeah, well, we didn't work on passing because the kids don't have the appropriate level yet. If they did, we would have implemented passing. So, well, we still want to show the proper form. That's why it said proper technique. So, toe up, lock the ankle, boom, right? Good contact. Right? Just things like that we're trying to work on and implement, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said earlier, if you enjoyed this, please share this with somebody. And I will be posting this on YouTube hopefully later today. And that way you guys have additional content. If you don't want to do it through Instagram, you got it through YouTube, okay? Without further ado, guys, I will see you in the next video.